My name is Vivian Kopsinger-Birchall, and I'm very, very excited to be part of the team here at Chavira Surgical Center. And someone may ask, why is this important to me? First, before I even talk about what's happening here, just the realization alone that esophageal cancer is one of the leading cancers in Uganda, and hardly anybody is talking about it, has a concern. Once I learned also not just about the trends in the incidences, but also the risk factors which really affect our daily lives. Things like hot beverages, hot food. Who would have thought that that could be a risk factor for esophageal cancer? And the most scary part is that most of times it's diagnosed at a very late stage where the only option is palliative. And the reason we're here is to observe and witness a stent insertion workshop, which is a palliative intervention for people with the very late stages of esophageal cancer whose esophagus has been blocked and they cannot swallow, and which is really gives them an undignified way of life to the end. And so this intervention just lets these patients at least be able to swallow not just any liquids, but their own saliva. So we'd like to thank Chavira Surgical Cancer Center for hosting this insertion workshop, but also the collaborators, Olympus, who have funded it. This has been done through the AFREC Foundation, which I'm a part of. And the goal is to reduce the burden of esophageal cancer in Africa. And today we're just honored to be in Uganda to do a little part that we can to just reduce this burden that is really affecting the way of life of families who have no option or who have no intervention for their loved ones who are struggling to swallow. Right. So part of this process, when we started having this conversation about how this training could manifest, there was a whole realization that yes, Chavira is in Jinja, but there are patients suffering from this disease from across the country. So one of the first steps we've figured out was how to bring on board clinicians from other parts of the world to benefit from this training. So we partnered with the Uganda Cancer Institute to help with the mobilization of identification of clinicians that could participate in this in this training workshop. And so in addition to that, not only just with the physician, but to identify patients. And so part of what that brings about is that we are able to build capacity not only here at Chavira, but across the country, so that people or endoscopists have a skill, and not just them. There are nurses who are being trained as well. And because there is no surgical room that can operate without a nurse, and which is a critical, I think, a critical sector that oftentimes gets neglected, which is the nursing sector. So in terms of, so that model helps us to really lay some foundation for capacity building across Uganda, so that patients, wherever they are, have at least one person or two who can provide this procedure in the local hospitals across the country, and with the hope that just this model, we can scale it out at some point, and that will include partnerships with the government of Uganda. And we are so honored to have the Uganda embassy here. The ambassador, Robbie Kakonge, has been instrumental in getting this done, in terms of not just the training, but the events that are happening during the week. We have a symposium, and she and her office have been instrumental in making sure that that happens, so that we can bring more stakeholders in the country to be a part of this conversation on esophageal cancer, raising awareness, building capacity, and finding out ways to collaborate beyond the symposium and beyond this first state insertion workshop. And as somebody who is really into media and communication, I cannot emphasize enough the role the media has to play in helping, amplify the message around esophageal cancer. So my call to action to all of you out in the media is to really follow these stories, tell the stories of the incidences, the risk factors, so that we reduce the number of people who will need a palliative intervention like this one. Yes, we need it, but we need to help our people not to get to this stage. That's my ask. And as a AFREC Foundation, we're also looking forward to more partnerships and scaling out some of the collaborations.